Hello and welcome to another video from me, Rough Swordsman Wargamer. It's part 5 of my playthrough of Zero Leader, the World War II Pacific Theatre solitaire game, published by DVG and designed by Chuck Seegert. At the end of the last video, we reached 12 victory points. We've got a couple of days left, so let's see what this day brings. As always, we'll give the decks a quick shuffle. Just to keep it fair and above board. There we are. And the recon is still on 2, so 2 target cards. We've got communications, and a small dogfight. Let's have a closer look at those. Right, we've got communications and a small dogfight. I've decided to do the small dogfight, and I'll try and explain why. For the communications target, we can take 3 aircraft and we have to score 5 hits. It has a penalty. Destroy the target or move your intel 2 to the left. It's soft, and it's 2 sights in the target area and 1 in each approach. And for bandits, 1 in the target area and 1 in each approach. 3 VP, and the recon moves 1 to the right. Whereas for the small dogfight, we can take 2 aircraft. Nothing to destroy because our objective are 2 bandits that are going to appear in this center area here. -1 turn. VP is 1. Recon again moves 1 to the right. So why am I picking this? Well, it's to make it a bit more exciting, because if I picked this one and using the overkill from the last target, I will be able to reduce the next target's printed approach bandit number by 1. So we won't have any bandits in the approach areas. And with our intel at the position it is, I'll be able to remove 1 sight and 2 bandits. So this bandit will go. There'll be no bandits. So we'll only have to deal with the sights, and 1 of those will be removed. So I don't think it's going to be very interesting to just cruise into the center area and drop our bombs. So I'll use this one. We'll have a bit of a dogfight. This penalty, I've looked up on BGG, and it appears that this only applies if you go for it, if you go to attack it and you fail. This makes sense, because if you ignore this, they're not going to know that you were after them, so this penalty won't apply. If you go after that target and fail, communications have gone bonkers and the penalty will apply. This is different to an improvement keyword, which comes into effect the moment you pick it from the deck. So there's no problem taking this and putting it back on the target deck to be shuffled in again. We may get that later on, but for now we're going to have this one, and I think that'll be a bit more enjoyable to watch. So we will need 2 bandits, so let's pick those. And unlike picking bandits that are here, no bandits do not apply. It's an objective, so we've got to have 2 planes. So what I've done, I've removed all the F4Fs and all the no bandit F4Fs from here. Aren't many left. And we're going to pick 2, and that's what we have to shoot down. Right. Oh, what we got here? We've got an average pilot. And another one, would you believe it? 2 average pilots. So that's making it a bit more difficult. We don't have to determine and place sites, of course, there aren't any. We now assign our pilots. So let's choose our 2 escorts. So we've got Matsuda and Sano. Our other Zero, flown by Yamazaki, is having a rest. So these are the only other 2 Zeros we have. Matsuda has got the Agile skill, and to remind you, that will allow him to go evasive. In other words, throw 2 dice when he's being attacked and not get a stress. He has a Samurai Spirit and a +1 air-to-air. Sano has the Bushido skill, which, if you remember, is unfortunate, because if he had a Samurai Spirit and he used it at the end of the mission, he'd throw a D10, and on an 8+, he could turn it back over again. But he has no Samurai Spirit, but never mind. He does have the situational awareness, though, which turns him into a fast pilot and a slow pilot. No need to arm our aircraft, so straight away we're on the target-bound flight phase. So, draw target-bound event card. Gain SO points equal to the number of days in the campaign. So that's 6 more SO points. I better make a note of that. There we go. Place aircraft and choose altitude. Well, it doesn't matter. We can come in high. We might as well come in here. The bandits will adjust to our altitude. Intel air defense adjustment. Well, it says -1 sight and -2 bandits. I don't think it applies because these are objectives. We can't get rid of them like we can normal bandits, I think. Let me know if that's wrong. But again, it would be pointless to do the mission if that was the case. Draw over target event card. Oh. Aircraft do not suffer maintenance needed counters at the end of this mission. Better put that there. I'll probably forget that as well. Place the turn counter in the 1 box, but it's a -1 mission, so I'm going to put it on the 2. And we're off. We're on to the over target phase. So all that's going to happen is, of course, these are moving in. And I believe, as I said earlier, that objectives do not move out of the center area. In we go. And they're both the same, so they both get a bandit to deal with. And we move again. Right, look at that. We've got to deal with these now. Sano's using his situational awareness, so he can have a double pop at this one if he needs to. Let's get the dogfighting board. We're doing as per normal in my sights. So the 2 air-to-air modifiers. Sano has a +2 air-to-air, and his maneuverability is 1. No modifier for the bandit, so that's a +3. Oh dear, that's a 4. Mind you, that is still a +1 attack. Now it's the resolution, the 2 air-to-airs, no positional advantage. We do get that +1. So, +2, +3. And Sano needs an 8 or more with a +3. That's 6, that's a miss. Oh dear, the bandits are attacking. So we'll try this one first. Let's see what this bandit's going to do. So it's a D10 plus their air-to-air, which is 0. We've got an 8. That's a half loop. And for their success, we add on their air-to-air, which is 0. We minus off ours, which is a +1 for Matsuda. And we minus off our maneuverability, which is -1. So they get it with a -2. Let's see what they get. 5 minus 2 is 3. Oh, they lose a position. And can't attack. Look at that. The bandit misjudged his attack. He's out of position. And Matsuda is bearing down on him. But this one is having a go. So they're throwing with a +0, so as is. 2. That's no good. That's a tight turn. So once again, we're minusing off our air-to-air, which is a +2, so that's -2. Our manoeuvrability is 1, so that's another -1, -3. 10 minus 3 is 7. He gets a +1 position. No! So we are disadvantaged and can't attack unless we get back to neutral. But it's our turn. Yes, in my excitement, I've done it again, haven't I? So while I was editing, I realised I made a mistake. We've come back to that part of the video and we're going to resolve that bandit's attack. So we'll be adding on their air-to-air, minusing off ours and minusing off our robustness, and they get a +1 for being advantaged. So for the enemy, that's nothing, because they've got a +0 air-to-air, but for Sano, he's got a +2 air-to-air and a robustness of -1. So that's a -2, but it's a minus for his robustness, so that's a +1 and another one for being disadvantaged. So that's as is, that cancels out everything. And his stats are 6, 8, 9. Fingers crossed for Sano. 5, would you believe it? That's a miss. Thank goodness for that. Right, where was we? So Matsuda is doing in my sights. He doesn't want to muck about with the positioning of that bandit. So that's our air-to-air, which is a +1. Bandit doesn't have anything. And our manoeuvrability, which is another +1, so +2. 4 + 2 is 6. We've got a +1 attack again. And to resolve, it's our air-to-air, +1. Enemy air-to-air is 0, so it's still +1. We get a +1 because they are disadvantaged. So that's a +2, plus another one for the attack. 8 or more. No, that's a miss. Sano's in a bit of trouble here. He's going to have to try and get into position again. We can't use, I don't think, out of the sun because we are disadvantaged. I think we'll try yo-yo. See if we can get back in position. We could try scissors, but no, let's try yo-yo. So it's our manoeuvrability, which is 1, plus our air-to-air, which is 2. So that's a +3. Nothing for the bandit. +3, come on. Oh, we've only gone and done it. That's 7. So we get +1 position and a +1 attack. So we're back in the game. Now we resolve the attack. So that's a +2 for our air-to-air, nothing for the bandit, nothing for position, but we've got a +1 attack, so that is a +3, 8 or more. Yes! Well done, Sano. Cool, that was a bit dodgy there. He's back in the pot. And Sano gets another victory. Nobody's moving. But Sano might be able to have a pop at this if Matsuda can't deal with it. But we're on the last turn, look. So the bandit is going to try and get back into position. So this time we're using this column to see which maneuver he's doing because he's disadvantaged. And it's just a D10 because he is a +0. 2. He's doing a tight turn. He might be able to do it. So for his success, it's the 2 air-to-air modifiers, which is a -2 for him, and a -1 for our manoeuvrability, so -3. He needs to throw at least a 9 or a 10 then. He does! So that's a 7, so he gets his position back. There, oh dear. And can now attack. Matsuda has an air-to-air of +1, so that becomes a -1 for the bandit. Robustness is a -1, so that becomes a +1. So that cancels out the air-to-air, so he's throwing as is. 6, 8, 9, come on. 1! He misses. Matsuda sees his chance. He's going for it in my sights. We get a +1 and another one for manoeuvrability. The bandit doesn't give us anything, so it's a +2. 7. That's a +1 attack. And to resolve it, we get a +2 for our air-to-air with our +1 attack, so that's a +2. Oh dear. Shall we use our samurai spirit? No, let's go for it. He's only gone and done it with the +1 and his air-to-air. That's 8. That's all he needed. He's done it. Well done, Matsuda. And he gets a victory. And that's it. Cool. We've only just done it. Look. We are now on the Homebound flight phase. So we pick the Homebound event card, the bottom bit, and we get at the start of the next mission, place the opportunity special site counter in the center area. You know me and event cards. I'll leave it there and pop that there. And this is what they're talking about, the opportunity special site. So we'll leave that there to remind us. Now we're into the debriefing. We recalled the mission outcome, which was a success. 1 victory point. So with those 6 SO points, we're at 22. There's our VP. We're at, unlucky for some, 13. We're still adequate. Adjust recon and intel counters. So we're moving the recon 1 to the right. Doesn't make a lot of difference. There we go. Forgot to put the target counter. That's where our target was, but there we go. Place maintenance needed on aircraft that flew today. Wait a moment. We've got this. Aircraft do not suffer maintenance needed counters at the end of the mission. So there we go. Next, add target stress to pilots. So here they are. They're back home safe. One for you. One for you. Pilot stress recovery. All pilots. Well, poor old Matsuda does not have any coolness, but Sano does, so goodbye to that. So here's our squadron, and Yamazaki can now remove his stress and return to the squadron. Sano can do the same, and Matsuda we can put here. He only needs 3 stress to get shaken, so he'll probably have a rest for tomorrow, the last day of the campaign. Record pilot experience. So Sano and Matsuda both get 2 experience points. So here we are. That's how the log looks. The next thing we would do is to promote pilots, but unfortunately that's not going to happen. And lastly would be allocate maintenance crews. But as you saw earlier, we won't be using those because we didn't have to apply any maintenance needed counters. So that's it. That's the end of day 5. So a successful end to day 5, and we'll leave the video there. So this has been part 5 of my playthrough of Zero Leader, the World War II Pacific Theatre solitaire game, published by DVG and designed by Chuck Seegert. Well, our little squadron seems to be doing okay, and I hope you're enjoying this as much as I am. If you are, and you haven't done so already, it would be great if you would consider subscribing to the channel. Really does help. And also pushing the like button of the video. That helps tremendously as well. And if you want to be informed of other content the channel uploads, then push the bell. As always, I encourage you to leave a comment, because as you know by now, I love to read them. Thanks as always to my subscribers. Thank you so much. And if you want to support the channel a little bit further, well, you can by either buying the channel a coffee, and I'll leave a link in the description for that, or you can push the super thanks button underneath this video. Either of those, if you wish to do that, will help tremendously and keeps the little channel ticking along. So thank you. Right, it's the last day for the next video. Hope you can join me for that. But until then, as always, you take care and goodbye.